Welcome back, you guys. I'm Tassie, and this is my Ghostly Update vlog. I hope everybody had a great 4th of July weekend. I'm still catching up. It is like Thursday today, and I am still trying to catch up. I've just been exhausted. Like at work, everybody's trying to ask me about my weekend, and I'm just like, when just so much has happened, you don't have anything left in you to like give. That's what I feel like. Everything was just a blur. I knocked out like every night. I was just exhausted. So I thought it was because I'm getting older. Maybe that's why I'm so tired. But then I remembered, for anybody who doesn't follow me on my Tassie Eats page, I'm actually moving in with my boyfriend, and I announced it there. So I'm moving in with my boyfriend, and I move a lot, you guys, like a lot. Like this one time, it was like within a 4 to 5 year time span. I moved like 6 times, you guys. So I move pretty much like every year. Sometimes it's twice in 1 year. So, I like to move a lot. I like new places. And so this is a huge change for me. And for you, those of you guys who've watched me and have gotten to know me online, like I like having my own place, and I've technically been living with my boyfriend for a while, like since last spring, early end of winter, early spring. I pretty much have been living there. I haven't slept at my own place in months. So my boyfriend and I, we had discussed way earlier about me moving in and getting things ready for that. He is in the process of remodeling his place at the same time. So it's a lot. Everything is happening really fast. And I like to move kind of slow. So, the end of my lease, it's not until like October. But, I'm really I like to plan really, really far in advance. Like, I like to know really far in advance. So it's just like for a long time, I wouldn't end my lease. And now the time has come. I am ready. And it's kind of, I don't think it's really hit me yet that I live there, even though I've been living there. It still hasn't really hit me yet because I always had this place still. It's kind of like, it's like my little secret area I go to when I want to get away. And so losing that and not having that, I think that's something that I have to adjust to because I've lived alone for a very long time now. So I'm getting used to it, I'm definitely getting used to it. Look at me, I'm rambling. All right. To the topic today. So for the Ghostly Update, because I was super busy during the 4th and the holiday, I totally didn't even pre-plan anything. I was going to go live, but there were people over every single day. Every single day. I was waiting for people to go home because I was so exhausted. So I wasn't able to go live. And so this week here, we're going to be talking about the different levels of shaman shrines. What does that really mean? So those of you guys who are not familiar with the Hmong Shaman community and with my backstory, in case you're just tuning in and this is your first video, I am no longer a practicing shaman. Don't contact me for any shaman services. I'm not going to be able to help you. Now, there are a lot of shamans out there that you guys can reach out to. It could be a psychic. It could be anything that you guys want. It doesn't have to be an actual Hmong shaman. So with this vlog here, just keep in mind a lot of this, disclaimer, it's my own stories, my own experiences, and most particularly my own lineage, because that's what I have experience in, and these are just my stories. I'm not trying to teach somebody how to become a shaman through these videos. I do tell you guys, try to give you guys tips and hints and things that may help you, but this is not a step-by-step guide, okay? Keep that in mind. All right, so you guys have heard me talk a lot about the different levels for shamans. Now, for my lineage in particular, we have 3 levels. So what is the point of every level? Basically, what are you supposed to be accomplishing? And the first level for my lineage, it's like a trial run. Okay? So that is the point of the first level. And the first level, because a lot of people struggle with finding the right teacher. So this first level, it's supposed to not cost a lot. It's basically, for my lineage, $100. And you basically get a teacher, and they're going to observe you and make sure you're doing it correctly according to our lineage. Now, if you're struggling a lot and you can't do these basic things, that's when you need to find a different teacher. So what we're looking for is that the shaman can hungo. And in Hmong, whenever we say hungo, that's actually the chants or the verses that a shaman does. So this is when spirits come to the shaman and gives them their chants, and it's basically the magic spells. And you should be able to do it on your own. And it does not matter if it's Chinese or English or a totally different language or Hmong. This is the chants that must come to you from spirits. Now, again, this is my own lineage. This is not I'm not saying this for all Hmong shamans, because some shaman lineages, they will actually record and then they share and they learn the verses that way. So that's not for my lineage. Now, the other part is we want to make sure that you know how to enter and exit the spirit world safely. And that every time you come back, you're not haunted and crazy, because that can happen. And I know that sounds really extreme, but these are the realities of it. So that's why it's so important. We try to cover the basics on the first level. And we don't want that you go all the way to your third level. You spend all this money, all this time, and you're crazy. So we don't want that. We don't purposely want that. Now, with the whole entering and exiting of the spirit world, you as a shaman on your first level should know how to call your spirit guides. You should know. You should accomplish this on the first level. And you should also know how to do the rhythms and the chants and the shakes and everything like that, where, you know, like, so when I say like the shakes and everything, for Hmong shamans, some, they will carry different tools with them in the real world as they're entering the spirit world. And then they carry that with them as well in the spirit world. But it's all like symbolism and metaphors. So some of them may carry a sword. Some of them may have the rings on their fingers. It's different methods, right? Some will actually carry that ring thing that I showed you guys in my previous video. So you will carry all these things, different things based off of your lineage and your type of shamanism. And so we want to make sure that you're able to handle these types of things and that you can enter and exit freely and that you're okay, basically. And the time frame for being on the first level for my lineage is typically 6 months to a year. If you are going over the year, most of the times teachers will just force you into your second level, or they may drop you and tell you to find a different teacher if you cannot achieve these things within that time frame. I'm a lot more strict. Like, if you can't do the chants and everything like that within the first 2 to 3 months, I'll just cut you off, because it should not be that hard. It should not be. And I understand family politics and everything like that. A lot of people won't easily let go of a teacher. Even if they know it's not supposed to be their teacher, they won't do it. And they're kind of waiting for that teacher to cut them off, basically. Some of them will never do that. So you need to be blunt, because you as the shaman are the only one suffering in this situation. Yeah, the teacher doesn't want anybody to know they have this weird student who can't really do anything. But they're not just, some of them won't just purposely cut you off. So keep these things in mind. And I have mentioned this in many other videos, so you guys can go watch those videos. But that is the whole gist of the first level shrine. So that is what you should be trying to accomplish within that time frame estimation. And of course, it can be shorter. So, you know, if you're kind of typically, if you're born to be a shaman, when you were supposed to do it when you're young, you will do it really fast. It will just come to you naturally. All right. So you've accomplished your first level. How do you know when you're ready to go to your second level? So most of the times, the shaman's guides, their spirit guides, will actually tell them, we need a bigger house. So the spirits will actually come to that said shaman, and then they tell the shaman. The shaman will then go to their teacher and relay the message, and then they will plan a time on when they will raise the second level. Now, a lot of shaman teachers, though, they will observe the shaman, though, during a ceremony or some type of, not a full-fledged ceremony, but, you know, like the shaman is going on their journey, and the teacher may observe them, or the teacher themselves may go into the spirit world to just confirm it, because they don't want to make a mistake, that they're spending all this extra money on the second level, which is going to be $400. So it's just, you know, they just want to make sure that you're really ready to go to the second level. So let's say everything falls in line and now you're moving on to your second level. The second level shrine, this time frame could be anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. Again, this depends on the shaman and it depends on the lineage. So I know for some lineages, they have tons of levels, and some of them, the time frame may even be longer. And it can be shorter, again, depending on that individual's skill sets. So the second level, now we know for sure you can come and go from the spirit world. You know, you're totally singing your chants and you know your tunes. You can come up with your own stuff. You know your own magic spells. You know how to get your guides, right? The second level is when you can get even stronger guides. So now these guides here, they're going to be teaching you a lot more, the individual. And the point of the second level is now the shaman can do their own ceremonies. So don't go to the second level until you're pretty sure you can do your own ceremonies. Now, Typically on the second level, you're not going to be able to do ceremonies that what would be considered harder types of like a super crazy demonic entity. Maybe not on your second level. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying a lot of times on the second level, people will just take in their immediate family. They tend not to accept outsiders until their third level. But that's not like a set rule. You are more than welcome to take on outside people, of course. But you should be able to fix your immediate family and whoever lives in your house, and you should be able to fix yourself in a ceremony. And then you're going to have people who are in your family or in your clan, they're going to come over and ask for small services. It could be, I had this terrible nightmare, or my arm hurts, or I keep seeing this thing in my head. It could be any number of those things. So that is it's kind of like real life practice. But it's not a real practice. Like, you don't get a chance to practice. So a lot of these things you are taught as it's happening. So during that time, during the second level, the shaman is now definitely developing into what eventually they will become a full-fledged shaman, because this second level is kind of like the barrier to protect you before you are on your own on the third level. And on the second level, the shaman should be able to hupli. They should understand what a lot of different ceremonies are for and what happens. And it really helps on the second level for the shaman to go to a lot of ceremonies. If that's what's going to help you, ask your teacher, hey, the next time you go to a ceremony, can I tag along? I'll be willing to watch you, be the person who watches the shaman as you're entering, going to the spirit world. So it's definitely good to get these kind of exposure. And you can watch other shamans, go to other people's events, watch other shamans, observe how they perform their ceremonies, get a good understanding and foundation for it, so that during the splitting of spirit ceremony, this is when they split their actual rope. This is when they tie this, and this is when they do this. So that way you get a general gist, an idea of it all. Now, the whole point of the second level is to really understand your gifts and understand the things that are being taught to you by your guides and how to communicate with your guides, and really just getting a good understanding of everything before your third level. So a lot of people may try to rush and try to race to get to their third level, but you need to be prepared when you're on your third level. Let's say we've moved on to our third level. We got it. Your third level, now your teacher is saying goodbye to you. They are literally letting you go as a student. So now your teacher doesn't have to help you. And if you ask your teacher, you have to do it properly. Like, now you're like a guest. Even if they're your aunt, okay? Even if they're your uncle, even if they're your cousin that you guys grew up with, now you need to do things properly as if they were an outside shaman, because you need to give them proper thanks to their guides, because they're no longer your teacher, technically. Through history, you guys will always be students and teachers, but you know what I mean, though. Now it's about being proper. So you now have to probably pay for services. It's no longer going to be free. So keep those things in mind, because once you're on your third level, at that point, you should know that you will be able to take on students yourself. You can take on students. You know how to fix tons of people. You can handle heavier types of ceremonies where there is a crazy demonic entity around. And you can be able to go to all different clans, and you can travel far away and not worry that my shrine is across the freaking country. So it's just, you have to be prepared, and you have to know how to feed your guides. That's right. You got to feed them. You got to know how to feed them. You have to know how to take your shrine down, release them for the new year. Technically, you learn that during your second shrine. Sometimes your first level, if you're stuck on there for a very long time as well. But anyways, so you got to you end up learning a ton of things. And a lot of these things happen with time, granted. So, because your third level is now you're on your own. You're done. So you could technically, go and find a brand new teacher and start over again if you wanted to. And some shamans, I've mentioned, they do this just so that they can learn from different teachers from everywhere and get little extra knowledge and little extra gifts and abilities as they go along. So if you're very dedicated and you got a lot of dough, definitely you guys can do that. So that is basically it as far as the shrine levels and what really just kind of happens between all of that. And that's how you can kind of understand, if you hear, oh, I'm just on my second level, then you kind of understand, okay, so they could be able to hupli for me, or they could just, look at something that's kind of small. It's not a big deal, right? Typically, though, if the shaman doesn't feel comfortable, though, they will tell you no. And it's not like, because sometimes Hmong people do this thing where it's like they say no, but really it's because they really want you to beg. Okay, so people think if I beg really hard, the shaman will agree to it. So keep in mind, if they're on their second level and they're not comfortable taking on a task, or they actually will hear or sense pain and their guides are telling them, no, don't do this, then they really can't do it. So typically when a shaman is on their third level, that's when they can pretty much do anything. So, you know, sometimes they will still say no to you, especially if their guides are telling them that they shouldn't or that they can't do this thing. So keep that in mind as well. But typically on the second level, a lot of them will more likely say no just because they may not have the experience. Some of them would love the exposure and just try it out. But I know, especially for the younger generation, a lot more of them, they tend to fear getting injured and actually not failing, but, you know, like seriously getting injured in a ceremony. So it's more of a precautionary thing where we are more cautious because this isn't our whole life. You know, like we have careers, we have family, we have different hobbies, we have different things outside of being a shaman. So, you know, we are a lot more careful, but I understand some people, especially more traditional families, who take a lot of pride in that they're shamans and they love to tell everybody and do tons of ceremonies. They will jump at the chance. So try and find those type of people if that's what you're interested in. But a lot of the shamans I know, they tend to live like private lives because they want to live normal lives too. It's actually pretty common for shamans, especially in this day and age where everything is very modernized. A lot of people, they just want to live a normal life and they understand that they have these duties and everything, but they don't make it their everything. All right, now before I end this video, I'm going to tell you guys about a quick ghostly update. So lately I've been having these terrifying dreams, and I actually wrote about it on my blog on tassieyang.com. So I actually wrote about this crazy dream, and I'm talking about fight or flight. So basically, when you're forced into a situation, are you a fighter or do you tend to run away to get away from the scenario? And I've been having this crazy dream, and it keeps happening more often now. But anyways, these dreams, they used to happen just like like once every couple months, and then it was like once a month. Now it's like in the past week, around since the 4th of July, it's happened about 2 to 3 times now. Anyways, so I know what it is, and I know it's because I have accepted that I'm moving in with my boyfriend and I'm letting go of my apartment. And it's kind of like everything is coming into full terms and they're wanting me to raise my shrine again. And so it's very scary dreams for me. And it's funny because it's not even like, you know, like I used to think that dreaming of demons and when I'm aware that they're a demon was really, really terrifying for me. It's nothing compared to these dreams now. But it's because it's like they're trying to capture me and bring me back. And I'm just like, no! Like I just keep running. So it's been really scary, but I know my time is coming. And I will have to go back and become a shaman, but it's very hard for me to accept. Even now. So I know this was part of the deal, I get it, but it's still very hard for me to accept this. And so I've been having really terrifying dreams of my mom and dad looking for me. And so that is, you know, like nothing, like no demons, no seeing of any ghosts scare me as much as these dreams have been happening. It's like this terrifying moment. I can't explain it. It's like worse than seeing a demon. It's like tokapongplea, like, and that's like when you lose your spirit because I'm so scared. Okay, so that is it for this video. Next week, I have some questions. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to write to me. But I have a couple of questions lined up, so I'll see you guys next week.